when to pass?
I think that both Barkov and Tkachuk are playmakers first. I think that that's what they'll look for. Tkachuk will shoot before Barkov would. I think Barkov is always looking for it. Part of that is a control thing. Because Sasha Barkov is so strong with the puck, he can control the puck for longer to see if he can wait something out, see if he can find something. Carter is a shooter, so we would. You know what? It's not even about the decision to shoot the puck. That's not why we tell Carter. We want him to think like a shooter so that you play like a shooter. So your movement, your actions on the ice are with the idea to get yourself into a position to shoot the puck. They don't have to shoot it. They can make plays on it. But if you've got three guys thinking pass first, they'll play around the outside all night. They'll hang on to the puck, and it never gets to the net. The other tell then is for the other two, for Barkov and for Tkachuk. When Verhaeghe has the puck, chances are this thing is going to the net, so they got a good idea what happens next. And that goes to kind of the foundation of the philosophy of speed. You will play faster if you have a high percentage of understanding of what's most likely going to happen next, whether it's a shot, a pass, a breakout, wherever it is. If we have a good understanding of what's most likely going to happen next, we will make our decisions quicker, we'll move faster, and we'll play faster. So it is important on each line a guy knows, if this thing's on my stick, I'm going to try to get it to the net. We can play faster off that idea.
Through the first couple of weeks of the season, there were so many stats, especially offensively, whether it was at even strength or the power play of what you could expect. Maybe the results just weren't there. Do you feel like it's finally starting to kind of balance out? Are you starting to see some of the expected results that the numbers kind of say should be there?
I think maybe even more on our power play, because we came into last night, I think, 7th in expected goals in the power play, but 31st in actual. So there's a huge gap of what we're getting, but our power play started to find the back of the net a little bit. I think that's true. Goal scoring is the primary objective, obviously, when you have the puck. And the second is puck control and zone control. So you can do an awful lot of good things by getting a puck to the net. The defending team is rarely in a good breakout position when the puck goes to the net. For the most part, a puck goes to the net, all their toe caps are facing their goaltender. And that is another way of kind of controlling the game a little bit, the idea of putting a puck to the net. So if you're on the outside and you're always thinking pass, half the team that you're playing against is facing up ice. They knock something down, they're gone. So we think, I'm not particularly worried about those two numbers getting close yet. We just got to keep putting the puck at the net and driving the game offensively a certain way. And then we're going to keep working on the other side of that. I think early on in the year, our defensive numbers were really good as well. They've come off a little bit. Some of it's because we chased some games here in the last 2 or 3 weeks where you open up your game a little bit. Some of it then is you have the lead and the other team is throwing everything at the net, so the numbers get a little bit skewed with that. But overall, the analytics on our game are actually far better than our record or the pucks that are in the net.
I wanted to ask you about Nick Cousins, a guy that could play probably anywhere in your lineup. What does that kind of give you as a coach where you can throw him in any situation, in any position, any time kind of thing?
An excitement. So first of all, he's got a great energy. I think it took a little while to get comfortable here, to get to know the guys. I think his relationship with the players is a big part of what he does. He has a fun. Like if you watch practice, people are usually giggling, laughing, or making jokes when he's doing something on the ice, right? He's enjoying it. So there's a real positive chemistry there. But on the bench, he can go from left wing, right wing, and he started at center. That's a huge asset. He played a great game last night on very few minutes. But it had everything. He doesn't kill penalties for us right now. So we lost a chunk of the game that he could play. But his game has trended very strongly for me, that he will get more ice time. He's played well. He's really come on.
And do you think he's played better? So, you had him as a healthy scratch there a couple weeks
ago.
Yeah,
I think, you know what, in fairness to him, he started at center, and I don't think that's his natural position. And I was still getting to know the bench a little bit. We had some injuries, so I was running a shorter bench. There wasn't as much for him to show. We took him out just to give another guy an opportunity, and then when he went back in, he's solid where he is now.
On the Dallas side, what have you seen from Robertson, Hinson, Pavelski, that line that makes him so effective?
I haven't seen any of it, but I will start this afternoon. So we do all our pre-scouts post-game of our last game. I do know them. I do know that team a bit, having seen Dallas quite a bit in the past. What they've done well is they've split some of their veteran leadership up, right? You've got Pavelski on a line, Seguin on a line, and Ben on a different line. And then you've got really good young talent coming along, kind of getting mentored by them. So Hintz is a real interesting player, so much speed, so much skill, great veteran on the wing, and then more speed and skill. A really dynamic line. You can also use two of those guys to kill penalties, so they're responsible defensively as well. They got a good, deep, well-balanced team.
But when you're flipping around, you'll stop and see how Pete's doing, right? I mean, you watch him a
scores.
little bit, just the scores.
I don't know if this is true, but being there in the West and that, his teams never do me any favors, right? It's like the team I need them to beat, they don't, right? So, yeah, no, I follow them a bit more through the phone calls, right, about how the team is going, what they're doing with, but I don't, you watch your team and you watch your next opponent. There's not much time in season to be a casual fan. I will watch two teams play, the hottest team in the East and the hottest team in the West. Like at the rink after you kind of done your work, I'll watch a game of who's really rolling, why are they rolling. And Pete was one of those teams for a little while, but I haven't seen him play too much.
Is it fun whenever you guys meet up? I mean,
Yeah,
I've
you know
done
what?
it a few times
You know
over
what?
the years, but-
So we're 25 years. He's been in the league, I don't know, 15. Last year he came into Winnipeg. It was the first time he'd come over to the house for dinner. Like, there's just not that much time to get together. We'll grab a coffee at the rink, but you fly in, you go to the hotel, you get up, you do your thing. There's not a lot of hours to get together. I'll catch up with him if they're staying down in Lauderdale. I'll send him a phone call, see what he's doing. But we get fairly busy during the year.
He's kind of transformed the entire vibe of the team in terms of offense and things like
Right.
that. What does he do that allows a team to go from 0 to 100 that quick?
Well, there's a couple things. What Pete is really, really good at is assessing what's broken and fixing it fast. Finding the core problem. So he doesn't spend a lot of time agonizing about the 10 fires all coaches have going in their room. He can pick the big one and know how to put it out. So he's very direct like that. But some of it, and I think that's the answer to, if you look at the last 5, maybe even 8 years of Dallas, they were a kind of a high scoring, I would say loose playing team, and they got shut down right to a defensive game. And then Hitchcock is in and Bonus is in, and they were a really defensive minded team. And they needed to be, they were an older team. Then what happened is this young talent started to come in, and it's the Hintz and Robertson and these guys. They've got some skill now, so his timing was very good. I mean that as a positive for him. He was able to come in and say, we got to score more goals here. There's a bunch of different ways we can do that with this team, and he's effective in teaching that.
How much does psychology kind of play? It seems like, when he, opening game, he put the 19-year-old kid out there to take the opening face-off. He's done a lot of little things like that.
Yeah.
And is that something as a coach that is important?
It's important that there's a feeling of a fresh start when you come over and you take over a new team, that it's not the same old, that you're not, it gives every new guy a chance to have a different voice, to be a different player on the team. So you have to, put young players in a position maybe they didn't get that opportunity. And then have your veteran guys lead that. So buy-in from your veteran players, critical. Then giving those kids the opportunity for growth, for your team to move forward. The kids eventually have to drive the team.
Is that what makes Dallas such a tricky opponent right now, in the sense that they have traditionally been a defensive-minded team, so they know how to lock it down defensively, but then you also do mix in those skill players you have to account for?
100%. When you can take a team that's built on defense over years and open them up, then you've got something. Like, it's almost what happened here. If you go back to the mid-90s and you've got Roger here, and it was awesome, right? But they didn't give up a chance, right? Doug comes in, loosens it up a little bit. The DNA is still there to be a great defensive team, but now they got a little swagger and they're scoring some goals, and yeah, so that they've got the DNA of that team is still to be very strong defensively, and now they've got some skill on top of it.
Just one player in particular, Joe Pavelski, someone you've seen for forever in the league. What allows him to be this effective at 38 years old?
His greatness comes from an intelligence, and that just grows as you get older. He didn't lose any of it as he gets aged. So he was never the fastest guy on the ice, but a little bit Ron Francis-like, in that he knows where the puck's going next, and that makes him fast, right? His anticipation skills, hand skills. I think for all of those guys, though, it has to be a love of the game. Like, they have to. I know those are casual words, maybe. Well, why wouldn't you love playing in the NHL? It's great, but it's something far deeper than that, that you love all the minutia of the game, taping your stick every morning, getting your skates just right, making sure your body's perfect, right, eating the right things. And you do it all to be a great performer so that you can enjoy the game at a high level. I think all of those older players have that.